Yeah. Okay, have you stopped the screen share? Oh yeah, you have.
Yeah. We're on again now, and we're now recording. Sorry, whoever's seeing this afterwards.
Apologies to Dan and Tracy. Yeah.
We're starting. We've tasted the Bel. I'm going to get this right.
Bel Air.
The Bel Air Sauvignon Blanc.
The white Sauvignon Blanc.
And we've noticed that it's crisp, acidic, and rich in a whole load of citrus flavors, with a little bit of mineral.
Green fruit.
And some green fruit.
Grapefruits.
And Kate's just given us a bit of background, which you can see on the slide, about how different things match the food. And we're now going to try eating it. So we smelt it, we tasted it, and now we're going to try it with a bit of smoked salmon.
Okay, so everyone have a bit of smoked salmon.
Nice.
You taste your wine when you're ready.
Oh, that's good.
So anyone notice anything that happens to the acidity level?
It reduces.
It reduces, yeah. Definitely goes down.
It's still getting quite.
It's less, yeah. There's still acidity there, but it doesn't taste as strong at the sort of front of your mouth. It's only at the back of your mouth you taste it. So
now take a bit of lemon, and you only want to don't drown your smoked salmon with lemon juice. If you can find a bit, and then just do a couple of, if you can, just a few drops. Oops.
Yeah, you did that very effectively.
I did that last time.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah,
get it right in your eye.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to do it?
Yeah. Go on, you can taste yours.
Any thoughts?
It pretty much almost took away the acidity. You barely notice it.
It's like a perfect, for me, that's like a perfect combination. So I'm loving the mineral character. I've still got the fruitiness in wine.
Very good.
I'm really enjoying that citrusy lemon and the smoky.
That is good, isn't it?
Lovely combination for me, but I don't want to kind of hope that on anybody else. If anyone's going, oh, that doesn't really work for me.
I didn't.
Very nice, Kate.
Did you say Kate?
What's that, Kate?
I preferred it without the lemon.
You preferred it without the lemon?
Yeah.
The thing that's interesting is noticing the differences between them. You know, it's noticing how it changes the mix of flavors.
So having given you all that lovely pleasure, I'm now going to do something really horrible and mean, which is going to say we also want to notice what happens to dryness in wine when you match it with something sweet. And this is a really important thing to know. So I'm sorry, this isn't going to be very nice, but can you take a grape and then try one? So we said the wine was dry. What does it taste like when you've had something sweet?
Ghastly.
Not good, is it?
Can we all agree that that's ghastly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not very nice at all, is it? Why is that?
Pardon?
Why is that? Why is it so?
Wine has to be
The
sweeter.
sweetness in the wine, in the grape is just enhancing the dryness in the wine. It's taking away all the fruitiness as well, isn't it? It's a really bad combination. So
Gosh, that's amazing.
that's an effective, not very pleasant experiment.
Can we go back to the solemn with the lemon? And
Yes, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Go back to the positive.
Have another little bit of salmon.
Make sure we've got.
Are we having any more salmon later on, or can I finish?
Yeah,
now?
you're going to have some more salmon in a minute.
You're going to try it.
Okay.
Smoky is great.
Yeah, Kate's just eating too much salmon there. That's got moving.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right, next.
So take
Well, that
a
was
sip of
good.
water if you want to.
Soft blue cheese.
And now we're going to pour our second wine.
So this is the Riesling, yeah?
This is the Riesling. Okay, so when you're ready, swirl it around.
Yeah.
See what you can, what aromas you can get.
It's a goat.
Violet.
Wow.
Wow, some floral.
Yes, definitely floral.
There's something that's very distinctly grapey. There's a sort of a musky grapiness combination in there.
Yeah, so grapes.
Almost like a kind of, almost like the intensity of a dried grape wine sort of thing. And there's some stony mineraliness of a kind of rocky slope.
Can anyone smell petrol?
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah, I can see you. See why when you say that, I wouldn't have done it. No, but when you say that, I can say it. Yeah.
For some reason, the Riesling grape, particularly if it's been aged for a long time. This hasn't been aged for a long time, but when it has, it can give an aroma that smells quite a lot like petrol, which is a bit of an acquired taste, but it doesn't come through on the taste, fortunately.
Mm.
So we've got floral, we've got some green fruit, this is grown sort of at the edge of where grapes can grow. This is in Germany, quite far north in the Mosel Valley. And
wow.
it's grown on slate, so the soil is very slaty, which is why you get a lovely mineral character to this wine. And it's grown on very steep slopes, or the best vineyards are on very steep slopes, in order to capture the sun as it goes round. And that's the only way you can ripen grapes in that part of the world.
I worked for a company which was actually out on the Moselle Valley, and it was, this is the stuff we drank all the time.
Yeah.
So
in Moselle.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of lime, but also some stone fruit. So we think we can taste a little bit of, smell a little bit of nectarine as well.
Mm.
And the mineral as well. So shall we taste this together?
Mm. That's delightful.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Oh, yeah.
So the first thing we would do is assess the dryness of this wine. On a 1 to 9 scale.
Okay.
Oh, about a 6, 7.
No, not much. 4.
Oh, 4, is it? Mm.
Well, actually, technically, it's a number 3.
Is it? Oh, my
But
goodness.
the reason why we think it's sweet is because it's a very aromatic, fruity grape. So what we're picking up is real fruitiness. If you were to sip the wine and swallow it and then just say, okay, well, how much, what the sugar and the sweetness we detect at the back of our throat after we've swallowed, you won't be left with lots of sugar. It's just a very generous,
Very nice.
great variety, very aromatic. And when you first start tasting wine, it's almost impossible to distinguish between fruitiness and sweetness. So this gives the impression of being quite sweet. Technically, it's a number 3. So what do we think about the acidity in this wine? Is it quite crisp, or is it a bit
Crisp, yeah.
Yeah, it's got crispness. Kate's not quite sure.
I have no idea.
It's got that.
I'm salivating. I think it's got some crispness there. It's got some.
It's a bit like tasting a crisp apple, isn't it? That sort of crispness at the back of the palate. It's
That is true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
like a Brabant, is it Brabant apples or whatever? Anyway.
Yeah.
For intensity, is it medium to high or?
It's quite. I think it's quite light actually. Intensity.
No.
It's really light, but it's the aroma that makes it seem higher, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, lots and lots of fruitiness. Maybe light to medium, possibly.
Yeah.
So keep coming with any aromas, anything at all.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I don't usually like Riesling, but actually this is very nice.
I think
Kate, you're going to say something?
I just prefer this one.
Yeah. So green fruit, floral coming through.
I think you get that nectarine, don't you? Coming
Yeah,
through.
Yeah.
Don't,
Mm-hmm.
but this is really grape, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a sort of lychee flavour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Feeling lots of
I see what you're saying. Oh,
yeah.
I don't know what lychee was. It jumped out a bit.
The other thing with the Riesling is that the Riesling flavours seem to develop more as you drink it a little bit more. Somehow, it seems to have more dimensions to it. Somehow, the dimensions come out somehow. I don't know.
So now
I
we
can
need.
see what you mean.
So we're thinking about. What are we thinking about? We're thinking about the sweetness of the wine, but that's not really relevant with the smoked salmon. So we're thinking about the acidity again. Then we're seeing what happens to acidity.
But actually,
with
it's also the what flavours change as well. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. See what happens to the wine.
Is it high acidity? Is it high acidity?
I would say medium to medium high. That makes sense. Yeah, I would say so.
Oh, sorry.
No, I think.
So this has got a very low. I'm just looking at the label. It's got a low alcohol volume.
Mm-hmm.
It's about
8.5. Well, it says 8.5.
8.5.
As opposed to the previous one, the Bel Air, which was 12.5. Quite a difference. Yeah.
What are we
Usually,
eating now? The salmon?
Pardon, sorry?
Are we eating something now?
Yeah, taste the salmon when you're ready, and then taste the wine.
Oh, another small salmon.
I don't think it made much difference to the wine.
No.
they sort of complement each other, don't
It hasn't
they?
made much difference at all, has it?
No.
Possibly soften the acidity a little bit, but hasn't.
Yeah.
It still tastes lots and lots of fruit. Still really enjoyable.
Yeah, they sort of balance each other up really nicely. They sort of complement each other.
Yeah, and if you want to take a few drops of lemon juice and try it.
Mm-hmm.
Not much difference.
Any
really.
thoughts? Not much difference.
No, not much.
So a good match, would you say? Is this nothing's dominating, or
No.
no one's winning or losing? It's a kind of nice harmonious
kind of
combination.
complementary. Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got the fruit, and the fruitiness continues in the wine. You've got the crisp acidity in the wine, which works really, really well with the smoked salmon, and it's absolutely fine with the lemon juice as well. Yeah, so nothing's fighting. I think it's a really good combination.
Very nice.
So we can
So
try.
it says on the back, it says sushi, fish, and white meats is a good pairing. Is it?
Sushi,
So-
fish, and
Fish and white meats.
white
it
meat.
says.
Yes, I think you could also.
I can imagine it worked well.
I love this with Oriental food as well. I like
Yeah.
stir fry, that goes really well.
Yeah.
How about trying this?
What about a grape? We have grape?
No, not yet,
No?
not yet,
Okay.
not yet.
Oh, okay.
How
Right,
about trying this wine if you're able to eat blue cheese with a little bit of the blue cheese you've got? Because remember I said about sweetness and saltiness being quite an interesting combination.
Cheese is nice.
You've got dolciolata.
Yeah, me too.
So that can you taste the saltiness in the cheese?
Yeah, it cancels it out a little bit, doesn't it?
Gosh, and it brings different flavors out of the cheese.
Mm.
The cheese is tasting creamier and richer.
Mm.
And the wine is tasting kind of quite gentle with it. It's really unusual, that.
It's sort of taken any acidity out of the wine a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
For my palate, anyway.
Yeah, that's a really nice combination.
Yeah.
Make
Can
the
you see
dolciolata
that?
taste a lot nicer.
Just interesting combination of saltiness and sweetness.
Yeah.
For no reason, they don't fight. They seem to sort of be okay with each other.
Yeah, that's very true.
Good. Okay, so now we are going to taste a grape.
Ooh.
What are we having now? A grape.
Grape, yeah. It shouldn't be unpleasant, but my guess is that the wine isn't really sweet enough to be a perfect combination. So it'd be interesting to see what happens to the sweetness in the wine.
Doesn't add anything, does it? It sort of.
Okay, what happens to the sweetness level of the wine? So if we're saying it was up here, what
Goes
happens?
down.
Right down.
Goes down.
It's almost like a dry wine, doesn't it? But it's not as unpleasant as the Sauvignon Blanc, is it?
No, but it's lost all of its flavour.
We're not.
Yeah,
Just-
totally loses its flavour for me.
So that's not a perfect combination, but it was a good experiment to see what happens to the sweetness.
Is that how you can judge the true sweetness of the wine a bit?
I guess, yeah. I guess that would be a good way of testing the sweetness in the wine. If it can keep it with grape.
Very nice.
The grape test.
Grapes are very sugary.
Okay. So everyone ready for their first red wine?
Well, first red, right.
So this should be the Shiraz, the Blease Shiraz.
So hungry. Need to eat something.
So this is a Shiraz from South Australia. It's quite powerful. It's about 14%. And the Shiraz grape in the warmer parts of the world, like Australia, should give something that's quite spicy, lots of black fruit. So we'd expect to see blackberries and
Tarmac.
right, that kind of thing. It will have had a little bit of oak aging as well, so you might be picking up other flavors from the oak as well. So it should be quite interesting. So yeah, okay, let me catch up.
Kangaroo?
Which part?
Right, we've got tarmac from James, so that's good.
And rubber too. Rubber, definitely rubber.
Yeah, all of those really spicy dark fruit.
I can't smell it all.
It's a sort of blackberry sort of. smell in there.
Yeah.
Blackberry. Yeah, big
Yeah.
black.
Yeah.
Snack.
Black cherry.
Is it slightly vanilla-y or just can I just smell
Yeah,
vanilla?
it needs to be
Yeah,
vanilla-y.
definitely.
Yeah.
Some vanilla in there. Definitely some vanilla. Mr. Whippy's been at this one.
Yeah. Great.
Got cloves as well. Anyone picking up something?
Oh yeah.
Those.
Cloves, yeah.
I feel like I can smell this a lot better.
Yeah, it's really, I would say this is high intensity.
It smells a little bit like walking through a wood with some damp leaves around. Is that herbaceous?
Yep. Oh, it's so enjoyable, isn't it? I could sort of, it's just giving so much. There's plums in there as well, black plums.
Yeah.
And the vanilla is coming through from the oak. So let's taste it.
Vanilla. Oak.
Goes to the back of your throat, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a really, really powerful wine.
Yeah, it's too strong for me.
What's that, James?
It's too strong for me. I've moved away from red wines, and this is why, because they're just too strong for my palate.
So this would be sort of high on all the scales. So it's got quite high acidity, it's full-bodied, it's got lots of acidity, and it's got lots and lots of black fruit flavors as well. Now the tannin is that kind of roughness or texture in the wine that you kind of get on the inside of your gums. It's not particularly
Kate,
harsh. Yeah.
I've never really understood the tannin thing. So when I used to talk about wine being, oh yeah, it's got a nice roughness to it, that actually what I'm talking about is tannin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in its worst form, think of black tea, but you don't want a wine that tastes like black tea, but it's that puckering, drying sensation that's kind of like almost textured as well, which comes from the grape skins. It can also be increased by the oak as well, so that can add tannin to a wine. So there's got lots of tannins, but probably a professional wine taster will probably describe them as ripe tannins. I don't know if that makes sense, but they're not harsh and they're not green and raw like you get in some of the French wines when they're a bit too young. So lots of tannin, but it's in harmony with the wine. It's a big wine, and you need the tannin. That's part of the structure of the wine. And this has got that as well. But I think we were, as James is saying, I mean, he's kind of gone beyond red wine, but this is a food wine. You know, it's a Shiraz from Australia, but actually, it's not an easy drinking Shiraz from Australia. We need something to accompany it that's going to be nice and harmonious, and maybe soften it a bit, maybe balance it a bit. So you can imagine this with a nice hearty casserole. Does that make sense to people?
Or a kangaroo casserole.
Yeah.
Barbecued casserole, barbecued kangaroo.
Yeah. So tannin in wine, when you're thinking of matching with food, is a really tricky thing. It doesn't like oily food. It just doesn't work very well. It doesn't like, you know, I can think of something like a salad dressing or something. It doesn't like that at all. What a hearty red wine needs with plenty of tannin is actually protein, because protein acts as a softener. So hence the hard cheese that we're going to taste. So we're going to taste both cheeses with this one. I'm going to taste the softer one first. But my guess is that this will
Can
not.
I have a dry biscuit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that helps, doesn't it? Is it good to eat a dry biscuit with this too?
Thank you.
Only if you feel that you need one to sort of cleanse your palate, but I'll wait till after, I think. So if we try the soft cheese first, this.
Oh, that's much better.
It will be okay, but my guess is it's not going to be a perfect combination, because actually this is quite creamy and salty. So I think the hard cheese is probably going to work a lot better, but let's try the soft cheese.
It's creamy and salty.
Creamy and salty.
Takes some of the harshness of the wine away, doesn't it?
Yes, you're right. It does soften it a bit, doesn't it?
It doesn't work for me.
It doesn't work for me either. To me, having had the cheese, and then I drank the wine, but the cheese was still lingering in the wine.
That was an improvement for me.
Yeah. So, yeah, you
I like red wine.
Yeah, obviously.
So I'm going to suggest, and I think this is going to be the one that wins, that we try the hard cheese, the tasty cheddar. Got lots of lovely protein, which should coat the wine.
Oh yeah, that's a
and be
lot
a
better.
really good combination. So
That is a lot better. That's quite different. I'm quite surprised at how different they are.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That kind of combination. So that's
It's
why
almost-
you really want that then with a sort of a big chunk of meat or something.
So did everyone get that? Did it soften?
Totally transforms it for me.
Yeah, it did for Paul last weekend. Paul doesn't drink red wine, and he doesn't like this sort of wine at all because it's way too powerful.
Yeah.
And with the cheese, he was like, it's actually quite nice, you know. It softens the
Oh, it totally softens it, doesn't it?
and the cheese. We've got a really tangy cheese as well, so it can cope. The cheese can cope with the wine.
So is it? I mean, in cheese like that, I mean, I've seen that cheese being made in a dairy, and they chuck so much salt in, you'd be scared. And is it the saltiness that is taking away something from the wine, or sort of evening it out, or what?
No, not really. No. More the protein, the actual protein.
The protein.
Coating.
But Kate, fish is protein.
Yeah, fish is protein, but it's the protein. It's the type of protein you get in meat and cheese that works. Fish wouldn't do it. Yeah, you're right. Technically, there is protein in fish, but we need this kind of protein.
Okay, going back to the other cheese, the creamier cheese, as a generalisation, does white wine or much lighter reds work better with the creamier cheeses?
Ooh.
Or is that?
I think creamy cheeses is quite tricky. I would say a nice soft red would be a lovely combination with the cream cheese. So something like
That's what I meant when I said lighter red. Yeah.
Softer red, I would think would be a nice combination.
Can you example of softer red?
Or like a Beaujolais Village or a Pinot Noir or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kate, can I just ask you a question? How would you rate a Barolo and we're not tasting one of the, that's my favorite red wine, a Barolo. It's very, very, very light, very light.
James, no way.
Well, it's nothing like this, is it?
No, a Barolo is one of the most toughest, powerful, acidic, tannic reds you can get.
What? Well, I must have been drunk when I had it. No, seriously, it doesn't taste anything like, from memory, it doesn't taste anything like a Shiraz.
No, I mean, legally it has to spend about, I don't know how many years in oak. It's a monster. A Barolo is a monster.
Oh, I'm amazed.
Yeah, no, seriously.
We've had Italian winemakers stay in our house in this process of doing this stuff. And so
you're mixing winemaker up with a theologian who stayed in our house.
And we had a winemaker.
He didn't stay in our house. He came for dinner.
Oh, okay. We had
Oh, sorry. Just what's the grape? The grape in this one is a Shiraz grape. Is that? What,
yeah.
What,
and
in a Barolo, what is it?
It's a combination, but it's mainly the Nebbiolo.
Oh, okay. So totally different.
Kate, am I right in remembering that in Europe, Shiraz is Syrah?
I was just about to say that. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, there we are.
The Syrah in Europe is the Shiraz. It's the same grape variety.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yay!
Well done.
So wine from Northern Rhone will come from the Syrah grape variety.
Top of the class.
Yeah, top of the class. Absolutely. So what we're going to do now.
I deserve another mouthful.
Pardon?
Give another mouthful.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to pour our next wine, which is the mystery wine.
Mystery wine.
And we are going to send you off into breakout groups.
Oh my gosh.
And you think you don't need to taste it with the food. We can do that together when you come back. But using your sheet with all the aromas on and everything, I want you together in your group to get out a pen and just circle anything that you think is applicable. So you can decide whether it's full bodied, the acidity level, the tannin, and then any of the other flavors. And I want you to nominate someone in your group to come back and give us a tasting note for that wine. So an example of a tasting note is something like this wine is dry, it's full bodied, it's quite high in acidity and tannin, and it's giving off aromas of black plums and cherries. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then we'll taste that wine with food when you come back. So you don't need to do that bit, but we will give you 10 minutes to taste it and then come up.
It feels very home groupy at this moment. We'll give you 10 minutes.
So everyone, if you want to get your mystery wine.
And no heresy, all right? No heresy.
I don't know if you can have heresy. Well,
Can I have some, please? No. Thank you.
Oh, it's a red.
it's a red.
No, Jeremy, I had mine in the fridge for a couple.
So we'll see you back here in 10 minutes.
It's a cold red.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Hey, well,
Enjoy
have
yourselves.
enormously good fun. Toodaloo.
Bye.
Bye.
Join.
You do? Don't touch anything. That's it. You can just now. Yeah, that's it. Well done. And then we just go and we normally.
Hello. Hello.
Everybody's moved.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's moved and some have fallen over.
Someone at home.
Stirred but not shaken.
Let's hear your tasting notes. So let's hear from Sarah and Jeremy's group.
Sarah's presenting.
That's me. So we think it's a medium high intensity.
Yeah.
And aromas that we got were eucalyptus, white pepper, fennel, dark chocolate, black cherry, and blackberry.
Oak.
I'm coming to that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Body medium to high again. Is Kate? Are you ticking, Kate? Are you giving us a tick? What's that?
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making a little note where you.
Kate is grading us right now. It's very important to realize.
For us, it was a high acidity. We gave it a 2. And then the tannin, again, medium high. And for oak, we gave it chocolate.
Good stuff. Really interesting. Got some really interesting flavors there, and yeah, I knew I was getting something herbal, but I couldn't identify it. And you've identified it with the eucalyptus and the fennel, so well done. It's really good. Thank you. All right, so that set the bar quite high. How
about the other group?
How about you?
Yeah. Thanks, Sarah and Jeremy. That was really good of you.
Over to you, Ian.
Do you know, I'm not even sure I'd know what eucalyptus and fennel tasted like. let alone identify them. So the first thing to say is that James loved it.
Loved it. I liked it better than the one I didn't like before.
So we got down medium intensity, black fruit, medium bodied. But for me, and certainly, and I think Bex agreed, there was a sort of dry earthiness about it. To me, I wouldn't drink it on its own.
No.
No, it's a monster.
It needs food with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other than that, we agree with everything the other group said.
Ian started talking about legs at one
Oh
point.
yeah, legs. You've not mentioned legs.
Yeah.
I remember many years ago we had a wine tasting thing at work, and they talked about swirling it and looking at the legs.
It's got really good legs.
Tell us about legs. Everyone swirl their glass. Go on, tell us how we know about legs.
You can just do it gently.
It's how much it clings to the glass.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you've washed your glasses properly, there are no legs.
Yeah,
What I can't remember though, Kate, is what does it indicate?
well, it's the viscosity of the wine, but often it's a sign of alcohol, high alcohol.
So what? The more legs, the more alcoholic it is.
14%.
It is definitely because
It's the original start of legless.
So that's great. We also got some red fruit in there. So I thought I could taste some red currant. I thought we could taste some raspberry. Licorice. Shall I pick up some licorice?
Yeah.
With the oak was giving me vanilla and cloves again. I agree with the chocolate, and I would say it's like full. For me, this is full-bodied.
We didn't dare say hi.
High acidity as well, and high on the tannin. I was really kind of finding it quite a monster, in a good way.
It's like being. It does have a little smell of forest floor about it, doesn't it? So.
Earthy, that's what we said.
Earthy, yeah, the earthy woodlandy earthy. Yeah.
Smell of dinosaur about it.
I think we can reveal our wine now.
Oh,
look at that wine.
Spanish.
Yes, Spanish. Yeah.
Ah, I got it right.
Oh, well done. It's a Rioja Reserva. So it's from the northern part of Spain, and legally it has to spend 18 months in oak barrels, being a Reserva. So it's going to be quite an oaky wine, and potentially quite a big wine with lots of tannin and that sort of thing. And alcohol, it's 14% again, so it is a big, powerful wine.
So Reserva means it has to be in the barrel.
Reserva in Europe, under European wine law, that's an indication of length in oak. So if you want to, so someone like this guy, no idea if he's called Mr. Muga, but he will make a range of wines. He'll make an ordinary Rioja. He'll make a Crianza, which has to be 6 months in oak. He'll make a Reserva, which is 18 months in oak. And if it's a good enough vintage and he thinks his wine is worth it, he might even make a Gran Reserva, which is 3 years in oak. So yeah, it's a way of indicating, I mean, it's just a European thing. They don't do that in the New World.
And what was the 6 month one called again?
Crianza, Crianza.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
It's 24 months in French and American oak cases. Does it matter which oak cases it's in?
American oak gives a really unusual aroma for a red wine. It can give it a coconutty smell, but he tends to, it used to be all American oak in Rioja, but it's gone more over to the sort of French oak now. So it's not as distinctive as it used to be.
Hey, is this typical of Rioja? Our vicar before last, our old church, Rioja was his favourite wine. So, and he was a great wine drinker. So any social event, there was plenty of wine around. And I don't remember Rioja particularly tasting like this.
Hmm. Is this more powerful?
Is this unusual?
Yeah, this is a really good producer. So I think this wine, half a bottle, I think we've, I can't remember, 750, 950, I don't know, we might have been 950 for half a bottle. So it's a £20 bottle of wine.
Oh, I never spend that much on wine.
No, I don't usually, but we're having a wine tasting. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a very good producer. So you get good producers, and then you get more. You know, they make larger quantities, not quite so distinctive, I suppose. Not so much flavour.
Are the cheaper ones, you know, to put it into those terms, they tend to be a more drinkable just on their own?
Softer. Yeah, much softer.
Right.
Yeah.
Will they have spent less time in the barrel on the whole then? That way,
Yeah.
because they were cheaper, because they spent less time mucking around with them.
Yeah, and the grape varieties, the Tempranillo, if anybody wants to know, usually combined with other grape varieties, one of which is the Garnacha, which is the Grenache in Europe. So it's always a mixture of grape varieties. I think we should taste this with our cheese now.
Oh,
So we're saying that this is quite high in tannin. So it's mainly the tannin that I'm interested in. So do you want to, those of you who are able to take blue cheese, do you want to try the blue cheese first?
It enhances the flavour of it.
Yeah.
Cheese.
It makes it taste almost more salty, I think.
yeah, it softens it a little for me.
That really works for me.
Yeah, it does. It's very good. It's a good
Better,
combination.
yeah.
It actually makes it
Takes away
almost.
some of the earthiness.
It works better than the, for me, it works better than
I agree.
because the Shiraz was really fruity, and I didn't kind of like the creamy, cheesy bit with the fruitiness of the wine. I don't know why. So let's try the hard cheese, the tasty cheese.
Yeah, that works.
It works well.
It's a different wine now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Got so much more flavor now.
yeah.
But it doesn't overpower the cheese. I can still taste my cheese.
Yeah.
Really
Stuff
nice.
that I didn't like about the wine is now gone.
Yeah.
The wine is now really nice.
Yeah, it's
So much so.
No, I really like the wine too. I'm not a big fan of red, but this is yummy.
it's so important to get the match right. It can enhance the wine. It rubs off all the rough edges. It's it makes so much sense.
I'm gonna have to carry good cheddar with me at all times now. I can't. The only way forward.
You never know when someone's going to give you a nice bottle of red wine.
There's a word.
It's the grommet moment.
But notice with these two red wines, I don't know if you notice how long the flavour is lasting.
A long time.
That is a sign of quality. If you're having this blind, well, you did have it blind, but if you had to say whether it was a good quality wine or not, you know, apart from it being all in heart, you know, like, you know, not kind of ridiculously acidic with no fruit or anything, but the fact that the flavour lasts is often an indication of really good quality in wine. The flavour just goes on and on and on. I'm very reluctant to move on to the next one, actually. I'm really enjoying
Sugar out of the fridge.
well, let's give ourselves a little pause, shall we? Have a drink of water, or if you want to finish your glass of wine, then do, that's fine.
Do we have a little break now? Yeah.
Pardon?
We have a 5-minute.
5-minute commercial break.
Yeah.
Yes, we can do that. Yeah. Have a comfort break. We can stop the recording for a few minutes.
Oh, it's in the fridge, isn't it? Yeah.
Quite interesting.
We're going to do the smoked salmon again.
And I need to go and get some more.
Well, no, don't worry. We can just do the grape. actually.
It's just on.
Okay, so
Have you got any soft cheese, Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do the soft cheese and the
can we
grape.
just
then.
carry on with that? Who's that?
We've got the fish.
We've got more. I just need to go get it.
Is it?
No, I don't think
Oh.
I've had anything actually.
Fizz.
It's not got much acidity. So.
No. So for those that are coming in watching now, we've gone and taken the Moscato out of the fridge, and we're just uncorking it now,
We just-
and hope you enjoy this early Christmas present
Yeah.
from us.
Thank you.
We always have a spare case of this in the garage. You never know when you need a celebration. So this is a Moscato. This is the Muscat grape. It's grown in northern Italy, and it's very low in alcohol because of the level of sweetness. So it's only 5%. So for me, if I was going to have something with a pudding, with a dessert, or even as a celebration, I would go for something like this because you can have it at lunchtime, and it doesn't leave you feeling heady. It's light, it's refreshing, it's slightly sparkling. I think it's just a really great. In fact, I've been trying to educate the people of Stebbing about this wine for quite some time.
But you have been educating them all.
I know, I have, absolutely.
Every time there's a little dessert or there's a little piece of cake at Stebbing, you brought some Moscato with so that everyone
Yep.
can really enjoy it with.
It comes in, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's great with cake, whereas champagne often isn't.
Oh, I don't know why people give you champagne with things like strawberries, and what a horrible combination. Awful. So if you like to
Really, really grapey. Really lots of fruit in that.
Fresh.
I think it's probably medium to low intensity.
yeah, it's not.
Yeah. I can't really smell anything, to be honest.
No, it's quite light at the moment. It should develop in a little while,
Oh, it's going to develop.
but it's kind of the Muscat grape tends to. It's the grape that smells most of grapes, if that makes sense.
That's probably why I can smell grapes then.
So people just go, grapes. Oh, it's the Muscat. So it just does. It just smells of grapes and floral as well, quite often. So
Yeah. It's nice.
flowers and grapes, and that's it.
It smells like blossom.
Yeah, that's what I got straight away with blossom.
Yeah,
There is a real blossomy smell there. You're
yeah,
right.
blossom and grape. So let's taste it when you're ready.
Oh, it's very, very nice. Yes.
Busy.
You could drink this all day, unfortunately,
Yeah.
even with 5%.
Yeah.
You start to
Yeah,
feel-
but at 5% you could, yeah.
well,
Oh, that's nice.
Ish.
Bit tricky if you do it to work, but yeah.
That's got to be a 9 on sweetness, on dryness. Rather.
Any advance on 9?
No, it's not. It's not. I wouldn't say
Would anyone like to say anything different to 9 on this one?
I'd say more like 7.
I can say it's not the dry. It's it's not the sweet.
you can
No.
get it.
I would say a 7-ish, 7,
Yeah.
7.5. Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing like a
Excuse me, but
Sauterne
don't
or something that's kind of like, sort of.
Okay, that's the dessert wine, isn't it? So,
Yes, exactly.
No.
So that's the scale.
So technically this is a number 6 out of 9. So it's
Oh,
quite-
Is it? Is it? Really? Oh,
But
okay.
if you were to taste a Sauterne, that would be a number 9. But a Sauterne is made from grapes in Bordeaux that have been infected with a fungal disease called botrytis. And
That's encouraging.
the grape has actually shriveled. So the wine is made, and there's very little sort of water there. It's just intense, concentrated grape, really. And it makes a wine that's just incredibly sweet.
Is that what they call noble rot?
Noble rot, yeah.
Mm.
Hey, I must admit, I'm going to own up here. We will often, for like Christmas Day, get ourselves a half bottle of sweet wine to have with Christmas pudding.
Mm.
And we would tend to get a Sauterne or What's the other one? Muscat.
Muscat.
Muscat? Is that another sweet one?
Yeah.
What we're drinking now?
Australian
Muscadines,
Muscat.
Yeah, the Australian muscats can be fortified.
Right.
So some of the muscats, like Muscat de Baume de Venise or the Muscat, I can't remember the name of it in Australia, is a fortified wine. It's fortified with alcohol. So not only is it super sweet, it's also super alcoholic.
Right. But I suppose my question is, for something like a Christmas pudding, is Sauterne okay, or is that actually a bit too sweet?
Yeah, because the Christmas pudding is really, really sweet. So you need a really sweet wine.
So is that the thing where
But
the
this
wine
wouldn't-
has to be sweeter than the pudding?
Yeah, this wine wouldn't cope with Christmas pudding.
Ah,
If you like a sweet wine, and I like a sweet wine with a dessert, this Ned Noble Sauvignon Blanc is absolutely fantastic from Majestic.
That's from New Zealand then, is it, Ned?
It is, yeah. Yeah, New Zealand Marlborough, yeah.
A question. So you've got those, like in Canada, they have the what is it? Winter wine.
Oh, the
Ice
ice
wine,
wine.
ice
Ice
wine.
wine.
Yeah.
Yes. And in,
Yummy.
in Germany as well, you have ice wine.
Mm.
They're
Oh.
really sweet, aren't they?
Amazing thing, because the in some years they'll leave some of their crop on the vines through autumn into winter, and if they get the right conditions, so they don't want frost, because that would obviously be really sharp and snaggy and it would tear the grape. But if they get ice, then what happens is that the water in the grape forms an ice crystal, and then they crush the grapes and they take away the ice. So they're taking out the water and they're left with concentrated grape juice, which they then make into a sweet wine. It's absolutely delicious. It's incredibly expensive. Well, the German one is incredibly expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
It was the Canadian one.
It's also incredibly expensive, because I know my mother went to Canada, and when she was in Canada, they had an ice wine, and they said it was 100 to 500 a bottle, and they all got a little tiny bit to taste, and she said it was amazing.
It's really refreshing. It's as refreshing as this,
Yeah.
just more concentrated and very expensive.
Yeah. Do you remember we got given a bottle by the
We got given a little bottle.
Canadian business attaché in London, who was trying to get us to move our business to Vancouver.
You thought this is the way to do it, right?
He kind of trying to entice us by giving us these little bottles.
One more bottle and I'm moving.
If you've got any blue cheese left, or if you're eating blue cheese,
Hey,
you could try.
hey,
Yep.
sorry, before you go on, just picking up on James's recommendation of that sweet wine, I never think of Sauvignon Blanc as being a sweet wine.
No, nor
It's not.
me.
Oh, it's really, really nice.
I haven't
It's
tasted.
really nice. Can I recommend it? Try it.
And yeah, I have never tasted a sweet Sauvignon Blanc. So
Right.
but I
Gosh,
know-
it's really, really good.
Something
I'm not
about
familiar
that
with it at
particular.
all. No.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to try. The reason I want to try the blue cheese is because of the saltiness. So I want to taste that interesting, sweet, salty combination and see what happens to the wine.
It's nice. It's all right, actually.
We just had to.
Yeah, the blue cheese. I don't know that.
Yeah, it balances it, takes away the strength of the cheese taste.
Well, it's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I like it or not.
I'm writing unusual, not unpleasant.
Yeah, unusual.
Damned by faint praise.
I'd say it makes it very fizzy.
This
Hey, James.
would be a marriage made in heaven.
Oh,
This should be the perfect level of sweetness for this wine. Because grapes are not like pure sugar, are they? They've got.
Yeah, but this one you
yeah.
can drink alone. In comparison to some of the reds, you can drink this one alone, but it's really good with the
Yeah.
grape.
It works, doesn't it? Can you notice that the wine is You're
Mm.
still left with
Yeah,
some
it's
sweetness.
just perfect balance.
Yeah.
No, it's really good.
Great.
So with the Riesling, it cancelled out the sweetness, and with the
Mm.
dry wine, it went
Mm.
ultra dry and acidic and horrible. Whereas this is standing up to it. So something like a fruit tart, fruit salad, any sort of fruity dessert would be perfect with this wine.
Yeah. So you
Don't do
wouldn't,
chocolate though. Chocolate is really difficult to match. You would need something like Ian was describing, a muscat or something, one of those 45 wines, or even a port with chocolate.
Oh, that sounds good.
Mm.
Good bottle of port.
You're dangerous, Ian. You're really dangerous.
Are you talking dark chocolate there, or any chocolate?
Oh,
Oh,
God.
pudding, not.
Chocolate pudding, yeah. So
Right.
we'll have probably dark chocolate in there, not white chocolate. So
No. What would be the ideal wine to accompany a slab of Cadbury's Dairy Milk chocolate?
There is
what were you saying, Kate?
I say I just had a bit with the salmon. Don't think it goes so well.
No, it hasn't got enough acidity, has it?
No,
No, it hasn't
that's
got-
really interesting.
That's great. That's the best combination.
yeah.
This is just lovely drinking on its own, though, isn't it?
It's absolutely drinking.
We're of the generation that remembered, what was that wine that everybody drank?
Oh,
Big
yeah.
summer.
Do you remember the wine?
Lambrusco.
Lambrusco. Do you remember that era?
Yeah.
Leaf
This is a lot
wrap.
better.
We used to take Lambrusco to a party. Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah, exactly.
really sophisticated.
And never come home, I know.
Does everyone like this wine?
Yeah, love it.
Yeah,
Yes, very nice.
you can join
Thank
You can join Kate's Wine Club.
Yeah, that's why we gave you a bottle, because we want everybody to get into it.
Have you got shares?
We can start a wine club and have a quarterly wine.
Sounds good.
What do you think?
Quarterly
Oh, I
wine
think it's a
cake?
really good idea.
Okay.
Can we?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, except someone pinched that wine that I sent to Holland on the way.
Oh.
No. What happened is last week was St. Nicholas, and all the packaging has been a problem since.
Oh, right. I think someone's pinched it. Because
So
I did.
I think there's still a chance it'll come next week, because I had my contacts were also sent, and they've also not arrived.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, I was a bit suspicious because I didn't pay for track and trace, because that would have been a lot more money.
Yeah, I know.
But I decided to do it all above board and declare what was inside it. So there was a big customs notice on the outside. So I was like, ooh, I've got to trust everybody not to pinch it. So
We'll see. We'll
I
see.
didn't pray over it though. I prayed they'd be protected.
Yep, there's a chance it'll come next week, and then I'll have another wonderful moment to enjoy it with a few hearty casseroles.
But it's lovely, this Moscato. I can remember I've got some mates who live in Italy, and he married an Italian lady, and we went to their wedding, and they then had their wedding anniversary, and they had this at their wedding anniversary, and we drank it for a long time, and we didn't get too drunk, which was nice, because it's so light and refreshing and easy to drink.
We've had this at the back of church a few times, haven't we?
Multiple.
Yes, you were saying it must go really well with cake, I should think. Yeah.
Lemon cake.
Mind you, if
Yeah.
after a few glasses, even after church, if you haven't eaten anything else but a little bit of lemon cake, you do feel it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Some of us can walk home from church. Not in a straight line, but we can walk.
We can walk
I
home
think
to
I was
your
driving
house.
with Jeremy and Sarah. I think Sarah and Jeremy were driving, so it was okay.
Yeah, we've had celebrations with this at the back of church.
Kate, that has been really, really interesting. I've really enjoyed that.
Oh, good.
Yes.
It really has been interesting.
I'm quite nervous actually, because I haven't done this for so long.
Oh, well, you're a natural.
Yeah, you wouldn't know, Kate.
That's
That
that's
is-
brilliant. Yeah, I've never done anything like that.
Wonderful.
So it's really interesting. Really,
But
really.
if you want to do your quarterly wine tasting club,
Okay, anyone up for a quarterly wine tasting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am definitely up for it. Yeah.
No, is we could all pay in like a £5 a week or something, and then
Oh, let's just do it when we do it.
that's quite a lot.
That's a lot of weeks between each one. Anyway,
let's
yeah.
make sure we could have iced wine one time.
£10 a month or something.
Just start saving up. Jen.
And then we could do a sort of themed tasting or something.
I think it, and also the combination with maybe different dishes of food, small dishes of food. I don't know.
Absolutely, I'll send you recipes.
Yeah.
Bananas.
Bananas.
I have to say, Kate, I have to say, Catherine and I went to Vinopolis
Yeah,
some years ago.
yeah.
This has been far more interesting and
Oh.
informative
Oh,
than
thank
what
you.
they did there.
Oh, I'm really pleased.
Yeah.
Is that the one in Southwark?
Let's be honest.
Closed now.
Is that the one in Southwark?
I think it's closed now.
Yeah, I think it's closed down now, but
Yeah.
Vinopolis is responsible for me getting into Bombay Sapphire Gin.
Yeah, I like. That's the one I like. If I mean, I don't really like gin, but that's the one I like.
I love gin. The trouble is, after the fourth glass, it's you can't taste anything.
Right now, I have a friend of mine here in the Netherlands. He's British, and he's got a gin collection.
Oh wow!
So every time I go there, he gets a gin and tonic, and he says, "What do you want?" And I say, "You choose."
No,
Yeah.
Tanqueray.
Yeah, no, he's got some gin from up south, some Stoken gin with like a certain gingerbreadish flavor. Amazing. Like there have been several.
But what tonic does he
Got
serve with?
another twisted. I don't know. He's got another twisted rhubarb gin that was wow.
You should see Sue Hurley's collection.
Oh, she is amazing.
Well, he's got about 40 bottles, so I can't complain.
Oh, I should think Sue's got at least 40 bottles. If you ever have a chance to be at Stebbing when Sue has her ladies' gin evening, I tell you what, I hear that is fantastic. I've never been invited.
Glad you clarified that, James.
I couldn't get into the dress.
You did a good disguise though, James.
I couldn't get into the dress.
So Andy used to come to Homegroup, and they hosted our Christmas party 2 years ago, and I've never seen anything like it. I took a picture of it and I said, "Are we at a Homegroup social or are we in the gin bar of the Ritz or something?"
It was crazy.
No, it was. If you still got that photo, you should send it around. Yeah, it's amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I will have it because it will be on Facebook, and you can retrieve the photos that you put on Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Well, that was really fun. Thank
Oh,
you.
it's really, this Moscato is going down very well. I'm almost halfway through it,
And
and I'm on my own.
even though you can use your wine saver on it, so don't
Yeah,
worry.
it's
What? What? No,
Well,
surely
normally
not.
with a sparkling wine, you wouldn't use a wine saver because it sucks out the air. That's the way that it works. But with this one, it doesn't seem to matter too much. It's just a gentle sparkle.
it stays in good shape for a couple of days actually.
Oh,
Surprising.
lovely.
Yeah. So enjoy it. Enjoy using it.
So I enjoyed all of those wines. I don't know about everyone else.
Yeah, they were very good.
Out of all the wines that we've tasted, which one would you recommend using the pump thing on?
Oh, all of them. Yeah. I mean,
Oh, all of them. Okay.
yeah. I mean, with a sparkling wine, you would normally use a different stopper to keep it fresh that just stops it rather than takes air out of it, which we've got one of those. But I think with that, that'll be fine.
It does work fine with that.
This is Paul's favourite wine. So if anyone ever wants to
So-
call it a present, Moscato.
Yeah. Well, we're also a big fan of certain Rieslings as well. So.
And Riesling.
Yeah,
so.
Rieslings. We went to the Mosel. So I think this was my first winery that I went to with you. We went to the Mosel, and there was Kate said we were going to go to this winemaker that she knew there, and we turned up at this place, and it was a kind of quite, it was a nice looking house with a sort of a bit of a big, what looked like a big garage next to it. and it was sort of in the sort of steep hillside, and we turned up at this place, and I remember going into it, and they sort of greeted Kate like she was royalty, which was lovely, and this house went right back into the hillside. And this garage, just you went into it, it was like a kind of chemical works inside it. It was just amazing. It just went on with sort of all of this equipment and the vats and the stainless steel equipment in there. And it just went on forever. I couldn't believe the scale of it. And it was terrific because they took us up and showed us their vineyard, the strips of land. And they were going on about, this is the piece here, and it lasts about 6 feet. And this is the bit that just catches the sun dead right. This particular patch, and it just little patches.
Yeah. And just amazing. The year before, in their kind of reorganising of their vineyard, that they had discovered a Roman wine press.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So they showed us that as well.
Yeah.
And then we were getting married the following year.
Yeah.
So this must be 1999, and so. They sent us off with all this wine, and they only charged us probably cost or less, and we just had these amazing wines in the garage for months afterwards.
But it is amazing, isn't it, when you go to these places? Chris Bevan, when we came back from his daughter's wedding, we went to the Sancerre region, and I love Sancerre wine. It was fantastic, and we got some rosé and some white, and I think it was around about sort of £6 a bottle. I mean, and this was really nice Sancerre. The sort of stuff you're paying over here, 10 to 12 pounds a bottle. I mean, it's really good value to buy it there. But maybe in future we'll have to have special insurance to get there. Who knows?
If anyone wants to borrow a car, I don't mind being a driver and driving around. Of course, I don't have to pay any.
We're now arranging a wine trip as well as a wine.
I hear the Loire Valley is very nice.
I haven't
I'm
been
only about an hour and a half
week away.
Region, so.
Homegroup on tour.
Week away.
Chateau retreat.
But I think we should visit some of your Italian ones with the Mama's pasta as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have a new
Sicily,
Italian friend. I have a new Italian friend now that I've made. So she's got some connections there.
which part of Italy?
Somewhere close to
Tuscany.
Somewhere close to there. I'll ask her more specifically where she lives.
Oh,
Someday.
Siena or Florence?
She lives in some little tiny town somewhere.
Oh.
I'll ask where her little tiny town specifically is.
Lovely.
She makes like Italian pizza, handmade Italian pizza for us. Oh, amazing. Amazing.
Fabulous.
She can cook like an Italian.
Fabulous.
She should. She's Italian.
Yeah, but she can actually cook too.